Okay, cool. We are rolling. We've got Sean here. Sean, welcome. I appreciate you jumping on.
No worries.
How did you sort of like get into recruitment, like your story?
How long we got? Half an
Yeah,
hour. I'll,
yeah.
I'll, I'll snip it down to the shorter version. But um, how I got into recruitment, I got a phone call one morning. Believe it or not, on a house phone. I don't know if they still exist. Um, you probably haven't got one in your
I,
house, but
I don't know. No.
no, phone ringing downstairs from a local recruitment company. I come back from traveling. I was in Brazil for the World Cup and spent all my money. Decided to come home, need to go and get a job. And luckily, Masson recruitment, Tony, if you're listening, thank you very much. He, rang me up, said, look, come down, meet for a beer. I think the best conversations always start with a beer, don't they?
Yes, definitely.
And before you know it, just got started in it from day one. Really, it was a job I'd never done before.
Mm.
But picking up the phone, speaking to people, after them beers, I got used to that kind of almost that sort of lifestyle when I worked up in the city insurance. So very much a people's person kind of game, isn't it? So
Yeah.
got into that for 6 to 8 months, and once I got a taste for it, and all it takes is one deal to kickstart your career, and I never really looked back from there.
Cool, man. Yeah, I guess that's like sort of the part of work that I kind of miss. Like in terms of like what I do is obviously I'm working from home like every day and
Yeah,
having that sort of like socializing. It's something that is like when going into entrepreneurship at the start, it's like sort of a lonely journey, and
absolutely.
having that is like really really cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah, business is lonely, and I've got a lot of successful leaders and mentors as such that have said that to me. You always pick up the phone because when you do run your own business, it does get lonely because you're working 7 days a week,
yeah,
24 hours a day. Luckily, I've got Adam in the office here to keep me a bit of company anyway. But um, it can be lonely, but at the same time, um, you know, you can obviously scale up and hopefully one day when you're as successful as you want to be, you'll be doing the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah. In terms of like when you first started out, what was the decision that made you go and start your own thing? Um,
Um, Again, another good question. Some
yeah,
very good loaded questions here. Um, I I worked for a couple of big firms. So um, when I lived in New Zealand and worked out there for a bit, and I came back and worked for a quite big corporation, very good firm, O'Neill and Brennan. Um, and just because I needed to move back to towards Essex because we were starting a family. So joined a local recruitment business in Essex, and um, fast forward 2 years into that, I always look back now and go, "Cool, I'm grateful what happened," but I ended up getting sacked just 2 years into it, and it prompted me to go out and start my new business, and I'm grateful for that happening now because
yes,
fast forward 3 years, and at the time it feels like the end of the world, but fast forward 3 years, we've been trading, successful, growing slowly but growing organically as well.
mm,
So yeah, it kind of got pushed in that direction. That was always the direction I wanted to go in, but it's all about timing, right?
yeah,
When's the right time? Is it now? Is it then? And it just happened to be that reason that I moved or left the business, and yeah, now we're here, and 3 years down the line, I can't see myself ever kind of going back to a kind of a full time PAYE role.
yeah. I feel like everything does happen for a reason, and
Yeah,
those sort of moments just do add to the story, don't they?
yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, so in terms of like actual like recruitment, what is the hardest part about it, like day to day?
People,
Is it?
part of the job, right? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
in a way where you're dealing with people's livelihoods, right? And there's so many variables. There's so many things that could go wrong, so many things that could go right. So,
mm,
end of the day, we are working with people and putting them into their right, future appointments. So, I'd say the biggest struggle really is commitment from candidates. identifying if they're actually in the market for a new role rather than just window shopping. You get a lot of time wasters out there that are generally moving around, and it's down to us and our job to kind of vet that and kind of get to the bottom of it early doors. But I said, yeah, the biggest thing really is just you're not selling a product, right? You're not selling something on Amazon where you just buy it and you don't like it, you send it back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're dealing with emotions, and you're dealing with people's careers, which is a bit more. You need to take a bit more care and attention to that as well. So, yeah, it all kind of falls back into the people's person, right? You've got to be able to talk to people at all different levels, all different backgrounds. So you do need to wear quite a few hats. One day you could be talking in a professional manner. Next day you could be, mentoring them, being a shoulder to cry on sometimes. It's just you go through all the seasons in this job, but yeah, it's the people, isn't it?
Yeah, I was speaking to a recruitment founder the other day, and he was saying like the different personalities he has to put on with different people that he's talking to. It's like you've got to like change and adjust to who you're sort of speaking to.
Yeah.
And
I would never talk any differently to someone who's in a high level role to more of a lower level, not lower level, but blue collar maybe, or a less graded level. I always think you treat everyone with the same respect, and we're talking to CEOs of big tech firms, and we're also talking to fitters and labourers and people like that I want to start their journey or move across. So yeah, it's understanding that person and making sure we're doing the best we can for them.
every like conversation I've had with recruiters, because obviously I'm in the sort of AI space.
Yeah.
The biggest objection is, oh well, for recruitment, the most important part is that sort of human connection and like being able to talk to people and like communicate well within that.
Well, absolutely, and that's why we meet everyone we work with. And if we can't meet them face to face, we have to, we'll do a Teams call or video call like we're doing now, because the most success we've had, and the penny only dropped a few years ago, and it's like, the CV's great, but what are they like? Can they fit into that team? How well do you know your client? Like, we know our clients so well now. When we go and meet these people, we're like, yeah, half the time you don't even need a CV, because you have that trust and you have that rapport with them, and you know how they operate and what that environment's going to be like for that candidate. And we've been really successful recently by just matching up the client to the actual candidate in sense of personality and drive and all the values that they've got as a business and the values that I have as a person. So,
because obviously it's all about building trust. Is there any like ways which you do that with candidates and clients, like how to build that sort of trust?
For me, and I said to you before, didn't I, Harvey, that I'm quite old school. So I like to go meet people. I like to go take them for a coffee or a beer. On the client side of it, we do quite a bit of entertainment, and we understand what they want to do. There's no point taking a client out to a football match if they're not into football and they love rugby.
Yeah,
understanding them on the social aspect as well as the personal aspect. And 9 times out of 10, once you don't know about you, but you go for a beer with someone and you start to get to know them and build a relationship. And it's the same with the candidates. We're lucky we're in Malden and we've got the best coffee shop in the UK, right on our doorstep. Malden Coffee, if you're listening, text me. But we go there and meet candidates and get to know them outside of their, actual professional career, actually what they're like outside of work, and spend a bit of time and have a coffee with them or however they want to do it, really.
All of like last year, we were like big into like sales cycle and like what it takes for people to go from complete strangers to like being to work with you. And it was all about spending time like with you. And it said there was like a statistic, and it was like you have to spend at least 7 hours either watching or like be engaged within this person to then become from a stranger to like an actual client, a paying client. People do business with people, and
absolutely. So, can you agree more?
Would you say that's like the biggest skill then as a recruiter, being able to manage and talk to people? Or what would you say is like the biggest skill within recruitment that you have to adapt to?
Yeah, I think there's a fine line, right? There's as a recruiter, you don't want to be too pushy and calling people every single day. And I get calls from hiring managers going, "Oh, you're calling me every single day about the same thing." sometimes you can be a bit over the top. You need to find that balance. It's really hard to find that balance of, you know, pushing, you know, follow up emails, those things that you want to keep doing without coming across a bit of like a pest. And
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
so I think that's quite a niche thing to do. You get some recruiters are like just boiling a china shop when they're just like bang, bang, bang. And I guess
yeah,
that's, they've got KPIs, right? You got your bigger corporate companies that are like, you've got to call 200 people today. Don't go home until you've done it. We're a bit different. We're like, I think less is more. It's all about the quality. So
yeah,
it's kind of gauging that really, and building relationships around how you want to operate as a consultant.
yeah,
You want to provide the best service, but at the same time, you don't want to be so full on. Otherwise, it turns a hiring manager off. If you've got a call from the same person 3 weeks in a row every day and you're telling them the same thing, it's not like you're ignoring them, but you're telling them the same thing, like got nothing there, but they still call you the next day.
yeah.
And
No, I
that's,
get that. That sort of sense of creating that first like contact and then just like
yeah,
leaving. It almost like adds value to you. Like you're not chasing.
no,
That's like our sort of philosophy last year. That's why we were creating content because
yeah,
when marketing to people, when you're like going to them, it's like a completely different effect to when they're coming to you. And when
absolutely.
they come to you, you are the magnet. They're like attracted to you. It's so much easier to like sell.
There's a need, right? They come to
Yeah.
you for a need, right? And you're going to them just, you know, seeing what's out there. So, you know, when that phone rings and it's got their name on it, they know, you know what they're calling for, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, again, we've been successful out of it recently where, you know, we don't need to talk to them every single week, but we know they know we're here to provide a service when they need it. And 9 times out of 10, you know, we get that first call.
cool, man, cool. We've said all like the positive stuff. How
Mm.
about like the negative stuff within recruitment? What's like the biggest frustration you guys?
I'd say it's almost the roller coaster journey that we're all going on at the same time.
Hmm.
You can be, you can do the best job in the world. You can be the best consultant, account manager, whatever you want to call yourselves. But again, it comes down to that first question you asked me, Harvey, about it's down to the people, right? It's sometimes it's the biggest part of it. And, you know, when they're due to start a job Monday, anything can happen, right? A counter offer could be something's happened in the family, they can't start, or they've had an epiphany and they're not going to start the job. So, you know, you can be, you know, placing candidates and counting your money. Some people count their commission, going, "Oh, what we're going to spend all my money on to buy a Rolex?" What
Yes.
cliche things they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it always comes down to that relationship with that candidate, and sometimes it's out your hands. You can do the best job in the world. You can meet them. You can, you know, keep in touch with them every other day. Give them the best package in the world. Give them what they want. But and it's happened to us last year, and it's disappointing because you put all that effort and work in. I mean, what kind of business do you know that does all the work up front and then hope to get paid?
Yeah.
You wouldn't go to a restaurant, would you? And then, you know, just eat all the food and then just walk out and be like, "No, but yeah, we do it. We do all the work up front. You know, we can work on retainers, and there's some clients that prefer to work like that because you've got their commitment, which is always a safer approach to do it in this sector and industry. But a lot of the time we've got signed terms, so it's not an issue. But you do all the work up front normally,
Yeah.
and all it takes is one decision from that candidate or client, and then, you know, all that work, all that pipeline's been undone. So I'd say that's the uncertainty of those sort of roles and some candidates that, you know, it doesn't happen all the time, but you always got that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, because I was on a call the other day with this guy, and he says he has like very few clients, but he works like a long term with these clients. In
Yeah.
terms of like how you guys work, is it like you have loads of clients, like recycling with new clients like every other month, or do you guys like have a certain criteria of clients? Because like you said earlier, it's quality over quantity sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're very much like that. When I started CR3, I was big on relationships, and I only want to work with a handful of people that I can pick up the phone to, have a laugh, do some business, hopefully get on the golf course with them. It's not a criteria, but it's always nice. And And yeah, so we work with 5 or 6 clients that we do repeat business with. We provide a really solid service. If you're trying to service 10, 15, 20 clients, you can't provide that kind of service.
Yeah.
No, we're turning away work because if we take all this work on, not everyone's going to get the best service, and we're all about that top service. And we do that, we're going to get repeat business. We're growing organically, and there'll be a point where we take more people on that we can we don't have to turn away work, and they can work on those jobs. But yeah, right now I'm all about the quality over the quantity of roles, and I think that's the key thing when you're growing a business, not to try and go too fast too quickly. Working for a handful of clients is probably the best way to go about it.
We've sort of, because you see a lot of agencies out there who are just like doing a done for you like delivery service, or like a service, do it and then it's done.
Yes,
it's so much
transactional, isn't it, right? If you want a transactional relationship, or do you want an actual business relationship, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And transactional relationship, sometimes it could be specking in a CV to someone you don't know, right? And it's happened to us, and we spec'd in CVs because someone's made an interest of working with someone, and then you might not work with them again, and that's more of a transactional relationship. But we don't tend to do that often. We try and create that relationship where we're going to get repeat business all the time. But yeah, I think that's kind of where you're getting at, right? We do transaction stuff down into the relationship stuff, right?
We're sort of we sort of like to see ourselves more as like growth partners. So we actually do like a model where we can actually grow businesses like with a sort of rev share. So it's like really incentivized, and it's partnering. So you have like one objective, and I feel like that's really healthy in terms of like, you're not just thinking about money, you're thinking about building the business together. I don't know who's going to be watching this, whether it's recruiters who are like there or there.
Yes.
What sort of advice would you give to like people just starting out?
Yeah, I'd say, it's key, that you don't start and go, I'm going to get a big fancy office, I'm going to employ loads of staff and have big overheads. I think it's really important to, unless you've got a massive funder that wants to pump loads of money into your business, then great, well done. But I think less overheads as possible. I spent maybe a year and a half, 2 years at home working just, in the dining room table. Low overheads, didn't pay myself for a very, very long time. So I think people can get caught up in that, oh, I'm now my own boss, my MD, and whatever you want to call it yourself, I'm going to get this office. A little bit showy. I think some people can be a little bit showy and want everyone to see how successful they are when really they haven't actually built anything yet. So I would say anyone starting out is, just to be mindful of overheads, and, there's a lot of work, you might have a big pipeline, but you have to remember you also got to get paid as well. You're building a brand, right? When you're starting a new business or building a brand, like CR3 is still very young. A lot of people, don't know CR3 yet. But over those 3 years, you don't know it, but that brand's been building behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I'm very cautious that if we go too hard too early and bring more staff on and more overheads and everything else, it could all, crumble before your eyes. So
that was sort of heading on to my next question about hiring, because something that surprised me was how we were talking about before, it's only like 2 of you in the business. How is that sort of, because I see like recruitment founders who they think when it comes to scale, the only option is to hire loads of people. So what are your sort of thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. And like, how do you measure success, right? Everyone measures success in different ways. Some people look at success as bigger office, more people, that kind of thing. Oh, look at me, I've got, managing 20 consultants, right? Yeah, fine. Now that's success in your eyes. And whereas I'm like you, I'll be with the bigger picture, and hiring staff. We're in, that is our business, right? Hiring staff. And I've worked in businesses, and now I'm in the driving seat. I'm very, I've lucked out with Adam, who works for us. He's a great lad, and he's got the right, morals and values that I share as well. And he's starting his recruitment journey, and I'll be probably doing the same. We don't need to bring staff on, but if the right person comes across at the right time, because we haven't been so trigger happy spending all the money, there's good cash flow there for someone to come in and join the team. So
Yeah.
it's all about the right person, the right time.
Yeah.
You don't want to be put in a position where you go, oh, it's a really good candidate who's come or a consultant that's coming to market who'd suit a desk that we want to run, and then you've got no cash in the bank because you spend it all going to Augusta National and or Cheltenham for the weekend. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I think hiring is key, and especially because we're a small business, we got to make sure everyone's like you want to build that culture, right? And it's all about bringing the right people in to build that culture. Because
Yeah.
once they're in, I like to think they're going to be here for a long time,
Yeah.
and then the next person that comes in needs to fit that culture as well. So it's very key, but it's more of a slow burner for us.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of that, it's like how because we've had people where we've hired them beforehand, and it's like once again they're in it for like a quick buck.
Mm.
And when you find them people, like we've got someone working with us currently, he's like so driven with the vision. If they have the vision, and once again, like they're more focused on building a business instead of
Yeah.
collecting the paycheck every month, it's like
Absolutely, yeah.
very
Yeah,
different.
it's so right. People just want to come in and be on big salaries, big commission structures, and at the end of the day they've got to pull their weight. But I'm happy to pay those salaries and those commissions, but
Yeah.
got to work in this team, and there'll be a point where more people come on board, but it will be quite a big
Yeah.
vetting thing because I don't want to just bring people in for the sake of it.
I feel like when people do that, it just adds so much complexity.
Right, and that's another thing. Right, the job itself is stressful enough running a business, but then managing staff on top of that, and every day is different. I'm lucky Adam turns up to work every day, but you're going to get people. The bigger you get, the more problems, right? The more
Yeah, yeah,
headaches, and when you've got that on your shoulders as well as running a business, or two or three businesses, it's carnage. So
there is a ceiling where it's like effort based. But
yeah,
if the foundation of your business isn't in the right place to hire, and you're just hiring for the sake of it, and you
yeah,
think that's the only solution, that's when real problems come. You're basically just spreading the pressure over people who can't handle it.
yeah,
So I feel like the most important thing in recruitment, from what I've like seen within the space, is about building that leverage. And once
yeah.
that leverage is built, then you can get in the right people, and that's sort of the way.
Well, I'm sure there's a decent AI platform that can increase that.
Yeah, I'm not promoting anything. Don't worry. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, going on to AI, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's with any business you have to adapt, you have to change. If you don't, you get left behind.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't pushed it as hard as I should, only because, like I've said to you before, I'm a bit more old school how I do things.
Mm.
Adam, he loves it. He does all sorts with AI in terms of like administration and other things that just speeds up processes a bit quicker.
Yeah.
We still want to tailor and be personable, so we don't want to lose that personal touch of what we're
Mm.
doing. There's a balance of yes, we use AI in certain areas, but not in others, and it's just finding that balance.
Yeah.
And we are looking to a new kind of strategy in what we're going to use in AI and in terms of CRM system, platforms like LinkedIn,
Yeah.
sales. There's some good software and sales that we're looking into at the moment as well that can draw data down. And it's all about data, right? We've got a
Yeah.
CRM system with thousands of candidates on. Is there some sort of software that could save us a lot of time by using our own data and
Yeah.
other data out there we haven't got access to?
Some people see AI as, like I said earlier, like taking over the human role. Some AI agencies out there, they do it wrong in terms of they're just trying to you need like you said, a balance in terms of having that, because obviously in sales, that human connection is the most important thing.
Yeah,
If there are sort of sectors in your business that is going to available to be delegated and save you time and maybe money opportunities, it's
yeah,
like sort of a no-brainer. So yeah, it's just in terms of getting that right balance, which I think you've like nailed on there.
Yeah, and I think someone like me, I mean, like I'm 35. I wouldn't consider myself as old or young. I'm kind of in
Mm.
the middle somewhere. But there's probably a lot of people in the same position as me. It's like I don't even know where to look. You
Yeah.
know, I get messages and calls. Adam would say like daily about trying to sell me something to my business, AI or something else. But
Mm.
I wouldn't even know until someone like yourself sat down with me and said, "Look, this is what it does." Um, and it's finding the time to do that as well. But I wouldn't know where to even start apart from writing in Google like recruitment AI. That's pretty the start, the very, very start of what I do. So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty educating everyone out there that
Yeah.
there are platforms out there to use, but it's where and how.
Mm. Tell me a bit about like construction.
So you want to know all my secrets, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Um, so specifically in construction and what we do differently in construction.
Yeah, so like what sort of like separates you from other recruitment
Again, it
companies?
comes back to that people factor, right?
Mm.
When I first got into construction recruitment, especially in the UK, I worked for a firm that were heavy on going out and seeing people,
Mm.
being out more than you're in the office, and
Yeah.
in a white collar role, it's a bit harder because still need to do all your CVs, all your admin, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
every morning, 7:30, I was on a building site, didn't know anyone, used to get onto a building site. I don't think you can do it much anymore since COVID. You can, but there's a few different tricks how to get onto building sites. And I'm talking
Yeah.
like volume housing sites, right?
Yeah.
Walk into the site office with your donuts and your goodies. That's all they want. You know, they're
Yeah.
like, don't even know you, but you brought some goodies in.
Yeah.
And then you start chatting to them, right? And, start talking about everything else. And before you know it, you've met maybe five people on site. You got their names, you got their numbers. They
Mm.
might start, if you ask the right questions, then they'll give you more names and numbers. It's about mapping out each client and getting data right. And
Yeah.
then, you know, after 6 months, you've built this massive network of, especially in construction, site managers, finishing foremen, all over the southeast, all because you've gone out and done the actual legwork
Mm.
to get around there. And it's not free because some days it's freezing cold, it's raining like it has been for the last 2 months
I
here,
don't think
right?
it's not rained once this
I,
year.
I read that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But yeah, I'd say going out, going out and seeing people on a regular basis. I know it sounds real basic, but I don't think a lot of people do it these
Yeah, they
days.
don't. They don't. I've
Yeah,
I've been told to do that as well. You think it's like so unleveraged. The way
yeah,
I think what is like the best ways to like save time, and obviously going out to different like recruitment agencies is it's a lot of time wasted. But at the
yeah.
same time, no one else is doing that. That's gonna
Uh,
like differentiate you from everyone else. No one's ever had that sort of one-on-one connection where they've like put in the effort. It's like that value first. You've actually put in effort to sort of
yeah, and I'm a big believer of like getting to know that person if it's a candidate or client, because the first thing I want to do is ring them up and say something unwork related,
Mm.
and then the work comes off the back of it. So
Yeah.
it's actually getting to know them instead of just trying to sell them something.
Mm.
So getting out, seeing people, trying to be personable. Because I think a lot of my, biggest clients now are friends. Like
Yeah.
I'll go out for a beer with them outside of work, and that's where the relationships evolved from.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I think that to separate us, especially not even just construction, to be fair, but all different, you know, areas. We do logistics, we do we've gone into tech market as well with like education sector, and it's all about who you know
Yeah.
and who you meet. And I've met these people randomly because we got talking and we like each other. And next minute, we're working with each other. So
Yeah.
I'd say yeah, if there's anyone out there looking to kind of get into that side of it, it's about being personable and
Yeah.
going out and meeting as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Don't look at it as a waste of time. The waste of time is sitting in the office 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, ringing, just cold calling people.
Yeah.
Go to arrange meetings to kind of see people.
It is definitely who you know,
Yeah.
not how you know how to do it.
Stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Go to network events. Like, I don't like thrive off it, but I go and do these things because I know no one else is doing it. And when you meet people, you remember each other, right?
Mm.
So, it's like jumping on a podcast now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've never done one out of my comfort zone, but you never know where it's going to lead to or who you're going to meet or network with or where
Yeah.
it comes from. And, I think it's important to keep keep doing those things. Otherwise, you become that robotic guy on the phone or get on the phone every single day, right?
Yeah. That is a massive factor to take away from this podcast, because obviously it is just a people's game, isn't it? People do business with people, building them.
It's not just the people you're trying to help; it's the people you're also working with, right? And you just never know who. Yeah, we do so well with referrals, right? People refer good people. So even if that's candidates or clients, now our biggest clients are now our MDs talking to our other MDs saying use CR3, they've done a good service for us. So you don't really have to go out and do sales if you do the basics right and you look after the clients you've got.
That's a massive factor in terms of like how good your actual service is, because I feel like some people do just focus on getting new sales.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you have a service that's so good, it sort of sells itself, like you said, with these referrals.
Absolutely. Especially when we're working with some of the biggest house builders, right? And there's so much red tape around it. It's so hard to get on a PSL to be a supplier. And people will take that for granted once they're on there and they're like, oh, they want to come off. And I've seen it happen recently. Recruiters come off the PSL and regret it. And once you're off, you're off, right? So it's really important. Once you've got a client, stick with them, build relationships. They've got so many different areas you probably didn't know about unless you keep looking and ask the right questions. So, definitely key to stick with those relationships and build them.
Perfect, man. Well, it was great to have you on.
No worries.
Yeah,
broke the duck.
What's that, sorry?
Broke the duck.
There you go, mate. I've done the first pod, so many to come. And it was great to have you on as the first guest for me, anyway, because we had.
I appreciate it. No, it's been good fun. I can't believe it's been chatting for probably half an hour already.
So. Nice. Yeah. Anyway, we'll try and get on as many like podcasts out as possible.
Yeah.
It's just about being consistent and getting these conversations and connections being built. So it was great to have you on, Sean. And that's the pod. That's over. Done.
Cheers, Harvey.